Okay, simplest form means no common factors other than 1. 1 is the only common factor. Means we're trying to find all the common factors and cross them out, including monomial and binomial factors. Okay. Second thing we need to consider when we're going to add these operations here is what are your domain, yes, that word comes from the graphing, restrictions. Okay, we've actually already talked about those things. That's where hold on, coming. Okay. Okay. Given the ratio of polynomials, the denominator can't be 0. That's your restriction. Okay? That's it. All I'm going to ask you to do is list them. Those are your vertical asymptotes and your holes. I'm not asking you to graph this. I'm just asking you to list them for me. Okay? So graphically, those are the vertical asymptotes and the holes. Whatever factors make the denominator 0, or whichever factors cancel out from the top and the bottom, which is still a 0 of the denominator. It just shows up differently on the graph. Okay. Example. Multiply A over B. Because of our limited time, we're just going to do placeholders.
I don't really get the
So, okay. See here how that's the denominator? What happens when the denominator is 0? You get a vertical asymptote. Factors of the denominator give you a vertical asymptote. Factors of the denominator that happen to cross out with the numerator, those are still zeros of the denominator, are holes. So if you're thinking of this visually, that's what they would be on the graph. Yes. We're just going to list the x-coordinates. Okay, so I want you to... How do you multiply fractions?
Multiply the numerator across.
Yay! You go straight across into one fraction. That's it.
Wait,
And
nope.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, sort of. We're gonna get right. That's why we're gonna get there, because you say all these different words. We got to make sure that we know how to do it. So then, okay. So I turned it into a single fraction, and then I reduce, like we did with that warm-up activity a week and a half ago. Okay. Now what? My domain restrictions. That's not actually correct. Let's say this. B can't be 0. This undefined if B is 0. Also undefined if D is 0. That's my domain restriction. It's where the denominators are 0. We call them, that's why you say can't equal. It's a restriction. I have to remove those values. These are the restrictions. Right now, we're just talking about how to actually do the operations. We're not doing any factoring yet. Okay? Example. Divide. Okay, how do I divide? So we're going to put up a simple problem. A over B divide C over D. Don't yell it. Okay, who can tell me? Yeah? Technically, yes, but give me a better description.
It's the reciprocal
Of what?
of CD and multiply by.
Okay, so multiply by reciprocal fraction after the divide sign. You have to reciprocal the correct fraction or it is not actually correct, right? You can't just flip any one of them. You have to do the reciprocal of the fraction that comes after the division. Okay, so let's write down what we get. So right here, this turns into A over B times D over C, which turns into AD BC. Because we already know how to reduce our fractions, common factors, and cross out. Okay, well, what about our restrictions? Okay, denominators being 0 is what I'm looking for. Well, it would be, except that... Okay, so yeah, I agree with this. I agree. Now I'm going to start here. Look at where I started. Where are my denominators here? I'm okay with what you said, but let's just look at one fraction at a time. What's my denominator in A and B? B. What's my denominator in C and D? But what happened here? That's also a denominator at any point cannot be 0. And so that division is really tricky because you actually have to look twice. Okay? My first step, the problem is printed on the paper. None of those denominators can be 0. Then you rewrite your problem into a multiplication. None of those denominators can be 0 either. And so you actually have 3 restrictions. Once we're into this multiplication step, nothing is changing locations, which means you're done looking for your restrictions. Notice my final answer would just be B and C, but notice that you would have missed D. You have to look at the beginning and you have to look at the ending result. Right? Restrictions come from the beginning and the end. I would actually look at and the rewriting step, just in case you cross something out. I would say that the beginning and the rewriting are the best places to look. Because remember, wholes, common factors, you don't want to lose that restriction. All right. Multiply and divide. Okay, I'm going to mix the operations. That was 1 each. What are we going to do? Should I put parentheses? Okay, we might do 2 questions. We'll see. A over B divide C over D E over F. Okay, what are you going to get? All right. Yeah. And then give me what it turns into, and then give me the restrictions. And then I'm going to put something else over here. Oh, I guess I don't need those.
Wait, so what's the box for?
The answer. What is it? What do you get? Okay, this is the only thing you guys mess up. This is it. You basically know how to factor and cross stuff out. It's when I start mixing the operations and you've got more than one of them. So you go from left to right. There's no grouping symbols here, guys. There's nothing that tells you what to do first, which means you go left to right. And so I'm going to highlight the things that I need to reciprocal.
Wait, why does it all turn to division?
Oh, to different problem. Right, just to make a point,
Where do we write the restrictions?
right below it.
But if you made it F over E and you put it and you threw a division sign there, it's the same thing, right? To the left.
Okay, so this is the only one that's going to flip. A, D, E over B, C, F. Okay, what can't be 0? Okay, I like to circle them. It helps me see. Oh yeah, look at that divide piece. I got to take that one also. Yeah, so B, C, D, E can't be 0. Oh, F, because I can't. F. Yes. All right, guys. Worksheet 9, just the warm-up, worksheet 9.